everybody, it's Michaela, and I just wanted to jump on to make this quick video for you guys. If you are shipping out to basic training soon, or even thinking about joining and you're worried that you are not physically fit enough, please keep watching this video. First and foremost, if you are doing Air Force basic training, it is not as physically demanding as other branches. Not to say that it's not challenging, and not to say there isn't challenging aspects of basic training in the Air Force, because there definitely are. It is still the military. However, it is not as physically demanding as some of the other branches. So you do not have to know how to do a pull-up in order to graduate basic training, and that applies for both male and female. There is no pull-up portion on our PT test. So if you are not able to do a pull-up, fear not, you can still go to basic and you will still graduate basic training. I remember we did workouts for pull-ups maybe a handful of times when I was there. And if you couldn't get yourself up, which I couldn't, even being in the gym as much as I was and still am, I have not been able to do pull-ups very easily. It's just something that I have always struggled with. But when there's like different bars, like pull-up bars outside, and for one of the workouts in BMT, we went on the pull-up bars and we lined up in a line, and then one person would go up, try to do a few, and then get down, and the next person would go. If you couldn't do a pull-up or a chin-up, you just hung there, and then you got down and the next person went. So there's no aspect of testing for pull-ups in Air Force basic training. Next, push-ups. I was absolutely terrified of doing push-ups in basic because I have always struggled with doing traditional push-ups. Like I said, I was in the gym a lot, and I by no means was like ripped or anything, but I was in very good shape. And I'm still in decent good shape now, I guess. And push-ups have always still been a struggle for me. I just don't have as much upper body strength as I have lower body strength. Anyway, I could barely do a push-up when I went. And by the time I left, I did enough push-ups to get a 90 on my PT test, and I was solid. So the standards for women in the amount of push-ups is a lot lower than the male standard. And now you also have the option of doing hand release push-ups instead of traditional push-ups. So personally, if you struggle with traditional push-ups, give hand release push-ups a try. I will link the Air Force video of the proper form of hand release push-ups in the description box, because for me, I have a lot more back strength than I do bicep, tricep, and chest muscles. So hand release push-ups are a lot easier for me. I did my PT test a few weeks ago, and that was the first time I actually maxed out the push-up portion. So the hand release push-ups, if you select that on your PT test, you get 2 minutes instead of 1, which was a lot more helpful for me, at least, because I could rest in the up position. You know, you still can't rest on the floor, but you can shake out your arms, and just the motion of the hand release for me was easier to get myself up and down. Also, if you struggle with hand release push-ups and regular push-ups, I would definitely practice before you go to just get your strength up as much as you can, but try not to stress out about it a lot, because at the end of the day, they are going to build you up physically. So you're going to be able to do push-ups before you leave. And I promise you that you will be doing lots of push-ups, and you are going to get yelled at about your form, but just know, again, it's the Air Force, so we are not doing as many push-ups as the Army or the Marines. Like, I promise you that. So if you're worried about it and that's a deterring factor for you, don't let the push-ups and the running and basic training deter you from joining the military, because there are so many benefits to joining. And it's not for everyone, but if that's the only thing stopping you, like, that's not a good enough excuse, because it is not that hard. And that's very subjective, I realize that, but this is coming from someone that could barely do a push-up before I joined, and now I'm able to do them and pass my PT test with a 93. So next thing is the running. Additionally, in addition to not being able to do push-ups or pull-ups, I'm also not a very strong runner. So it's like, what can I do? I am very good at weightlifting, as like benching, squatting, any of that. Like weightlifting is like my arena. That is what I actually enjoy. I don't enjoy running, but I do it because I have to, as far as military standards go. Now, I am not a strong runner. However, I am able to run. You know, I don't have a medical condition preventing me from running, and a lot of running is mental. Your body can handle a lot more than you think, and you can push past that uncomfortability. And I was able to do that in basic. So when you get there in the first, I want to say maybe it's your week 1. So you're there, you have week 0, which is like your first week, and then week 2, which is actually week 1. I think that's when you're gonna do your initial PT test, and that's really a baseline to see where you're starting from. So on that first PT test, I had fallen down the stairs a few hours before, and I actually rolled my ankle, and I just powered through. I didn't go to medical. I didn't want, you know, to be on crutches. It wasn't that severe that I couldn't walk. It was just, you know, a little kink in it, and it hurt. So I definitely was not able to run as well as I know that I'm capable of. So because of that, my score for running was like, I think like 16 minutes for a 1.5 miles. And I was then placed in the lowest running group. They divide you into groups. There's the red, yellow, and blue belts, and that is based on your running time. So because I got such a really bad running score on my initial test, I was placed in the red belt group. So what that means, you're just running with people that are slower. And then if you're a blue belt, you're gonna run with people that are faster, and the yellow group is like those in between. So that is when you're working out on your, you know, everyday basis, or every other day doing cardio. You'll have your belt on, and you get divided by the color of your belt, and that is determined by your run time. So the only way this benefited me really was when I took my mid basic training PT test. Because my ankle felt a lot better, I was able to get my time down by like 3 minutes. So it was a drastic improvement, which looked good. And then I was moved up to the yellow belt. But the blue belts, they were like a bunch of gazelles. Like, go blue belts, because I just am not naturally strong at running like that. I don't know if it's my physique. Maybe I just don't do it enough. That's probably why. But yeah, I wasn't in the blue belts. I'm okay with that. I'm okay being a yellow belt. I was okay being a red belt. I still graduated, and I'm in the same Air Force. Anyway, my point is, you don't have to be a marathon runner to go to basic. Start with running as much as you can, doing the 1.5 miles. That's basically it. Like, my number one advice is to definitely train before, but you don't have to go all out. So you want to be able to jog consistently for 30 minutes. And when I say jog, I mean like a shuffle. Like, you're not walking, but you don't need a full out run for 30 minutes. So if you can at least do a little shuffle for 30 minutes straight, you will be solid and you will pass your PT test. And if you don't, there's consequences for that. Your MTIs will help you get into the proper shape that you need, so that you can achieve that score. But basically, this whole video is kind of just a hype video for anyone that's worried about if you aren't physically fit enough. As long as you meet the weight standard for your height initially to actually go to basic training, everything else will follow, and I'm sure that you will be fine pending some medical condition or an injury, but you guys got this. All right, thanks for watching.